Hello and welcome back to the Sin City. We're here at Radio Row. A little bit desolate now on Saturday as the Super Bowl less than 1 day away, Luis. Yeah. Big game, San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs throwing it down to see who is going to be the champion.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. We've been talking about it all week, but yep, it's time to just finally kick off, play football, and that's why they play the game, right, to see who's actually the better team. So we're looking forward to actually getting to see it tomorrow and put all the talk to bed finally, and again, watch two great teams vie for the Lombardi Trophy.
And good news for the San Francisco 49ers. We had a little bit of injury scares with the likes of George Kittle and a couple others, but nobody on the injury list today.
Yeah, big news for them. Everybody was a full go in practice yesterday, and yeah, like you mentioned, one of the biggest concerns there was George Kittle. He was dealing with a toe injury, many wondering if he was going to be able to go, but I had been saying it all week. I think it was going to be very hard to keep a guy like that off the field. He seems like a tough, hard-nosed individual, so he was definitely going to do everything it took to get on the field tomorrow.
As for the Kansas City Chiefs, can't say the same thing. Their all-pro guard, Joe Thuney, will not be playing on Sunday.
Yeah, that is a massive blow for them. Nick Allegretti going to step in his place, the 27-year-old, hoping to have similar success to Thuney, but it's going to be a very difficult task against a very strong 49ers defense. But yeah, you mentioned it, a very big blow to Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs O-line.
Yeah, and as we get closer and closer to game day, the fans are just absolutely piling in by the thousands into this place, and we can barely walk anywhere.
Yeah, it's gotten more and more packed. We got here on Sunday night, Mandalay Bay. It was like the calm before the storm when we got here then. We were seeing things beginning to get set up, and now it is an absolute madhouse. You're walking through Mandalay Bay. You're bumping shoulders with other fans, likely even a few players as well.
Sauce Gardner yesterday.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner. We just saw Deion Sanders walk past us here in Radio Row. That was one star. I know. Just the other day on the way to the media center, I saw Raiders legend Jim Plunkett. So, yeah, you can't walk 10 feet here without running into somebody famous, especially on the football side of things. But, yeah, Vegas is an absolute madhouse right now. This will likely be the most packed it's going to be here for the week. Obviously, still the game tomorrow. But, yeah, Vegas is the place to be right now.
And when we look at that game tomorrow, what would you say are the biggest keys to victory for the San Francisco 49ers?
I think my biggest key to victory for the Niners is going to be that they cannot get off to a slow start. That's what they've done here in their first two playoff games. They did it against the Packers. They did it against the Lions, almost cost them against the Lions. We know that big lead that the Lions jumped out to in the first half. So I feel like if they do that one more time here in the Super Bowl, that's going to be their third strike, because the Chiefs don't seem like the type of team that would be able to blow a lead like that or let the Niners.
They got Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. That's really all it comes down to. Pat Mahomes he's been there before. He has that pedigree. The Chiefs have that pedigree. Reed has that pedigree as well, their head coach. I just don't think that the Niners would be able to come back from another slow start.
Also, it's going to be limiting the turnovers. That's something Brock Purdy stressed all week long, is we got to be aggressive and utilize the great weapons that we have, and that's going to be an awesome matchup as well. The Chiefs DBs against the 49ers wide receivers and running back committee, also George Kittle and the tight ends. But they can't turn that football over and give Patrick Mahomes too many more opportunities, because the more times you give him the football, the more times he's probably going to put that thing in the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I think that works on both sides as well. I mean, if we're talking about quarterback specifically, yes, Mahomes is going to be the better man at that position, but the Niners just have so many weapons on offense. Again, it goes both ways. I feel like if the Chiefs are the ones turning the ball over, then you're giving Deebo Samuel more opportunities, you're giving Kittle more opportunities, Ayuk more opportunities, Christian McCaffrey more opportunities. So it really goes both ways. I think, whoever wins that turnover battle tomorrow could very well just end up being the winner of the game.
And one thing that the Niners also have to do, they got to stop the run, because that's something they have not done well over the past couple of games. Give over 300 rushing yards over the past two games combined in the playoffs. And if you give Isaiah Pacheco a run game and give Patrick Mahomes a running game, you're in for a long night.
Yeah, they've faced some talented running backs so far this postseason. Obviously, they faced Aaron Jones and the Packers in the divisional round, Jamison Williams, David Montgomery in the NFC Championship.
Jahmyr Gibbs as well.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs as well. You just mentioned it. Yeah, they are definitely not getting a break here when they face Isaiah Pacheco, the 7th-round draft pick, obviously looking to make a very big impact tomorrow. He definitely has a chance to run all over them as well, so hopefully Kyle Shanahan and company have made a much better game plan to stop him. But again, with the way they've been trending here in this playoffs, it's looking like it's going to be a difficult matchup for them.
Either way, this is shaping up to be an absolute thriller. And we've talked so much about Patrick Mahomes. But the biggest matchup is probably going to be the Chiefs defense, which is the strength of that team, versus the Niners offense, which is the strength of their team.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very curious to see the Chiefs secondary. They've been so good this year against those talented receivers like Deebo Samuel and Ayuk, like we just mentioned a brief second ago.
They're ready for it. Just talking to Trent McDuffie earlier this week, and he was saying he can't wait for the physical battle and to try and show that they can match up with the likes of a Brandon Ayuk and the Deebo Samuel, to show that, hey, we're the reason this team has gotten here, and they're looking to build a dynasty at this point. 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, that puts you in a class of your own.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Mahomes ends up winning this one, then yeah, we are now talking about him as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Many people are already having that discussion, so this would merely be another stamp in that book of him trying to, get that legacy, and we can have that talk all day again if they end up winning it tomorrow.
All right, game is tomorrow. Luis, we're in Vegas. Who are you going to be putting your money on? Chiefs now only a 2-point underdog to the 49ers.
Yeah, I think it's just so hard to bet against Mahomes and Reed and the Chiefs system as a whole. It just seems like they're on that dynastic run right now, and no matter where the books might put them, if they're an underdog, even by more than the 2 points you just mentioned, it just would feel wrong to bet against them. They've really taken it to another level this postseason, and mind you, they've done so by winning 2 road games, which is something they haven't had to do in the playoffs before, at least in the Mahomes era. Yeah, I got to go with the Chiefs on this one.
You know what? I'm going to have to disagree with you. Give me the Niners. I'm going to say let's go 31-27. So I guess they're covering as well. But I just think it's Brock Purdy's time. I think it's his time. This team is so talented all over the field. And it just feels like they've been able to come back so many times. It could just be written in the stars.
Yeah, you're absolutely right here. I'll make a cross-sport comparison. The San Francisco Giants in their 2012 playoff run, they were down in a couple of those series, and they ended up making it, obviously, to the World Series, and they blew through the heavily favored Detroit Tigers. Let's see if this San Francisco team can make a similar run.
Hey, Brock Purdy's been doubted his whole life, and I think this is the time he proves all those haters wrong. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us here and all week. We're going to get you all covered still throughout today, tomorrow, and all week long. But yeah, from the last time in Radio Row, I'm Chaz Messman, that's Luis Lopez. We'll see you guys soon.